What's up, guys? Today I'm going to review one of my favorite 80s thrillers of all time. Uh, it's a cult classic, long awaited on DVD, and it's finally out after 22 years since the movie's release in 1987. And that's The Stepfather, starring Terry O'Quinn in probably his best role, best one I've seen him in, but you might know him from the show Lost. And it's directed by Joseph Ruben, who did The Good Song, Macaulay Culkin. It's another good thriller you should check out. And co-written by Brian Garfield, who wrote Death Wish, the book. And this movie was based on, well, I think the original story was written by Brian Garfield, uh, and he based that on some real-life murders in the early 70s where this guy killed his family and disappeared, and they couldn't find him for a while. So then this movie was made between the time he disappeared and got caught on America's Most Wanted. I don't remember the killer's name, but this movie's supposedly based on his, at least his MO, I guess. I don't know if it's based on the killer himself. I don't know if he did it to multiple families, but yeah, it's his MO basically, where he's obsessed with the American dream, or the perfect family. So he goes around marrying into these families, hoping to build the picture perfect family life. And when things go wrong or not so perfect, he snaps and kills his family, and then moves on to the next one. Changes his identity, changes his appearance, and his name. And in this movie, his name is Jerry Blake. Forget what it was before that, but the movie starts off where we're in this neighborhood, this really peaceful looking suburban neighborhood. Nice houses, houses you wouldn't think anything bad could happen in, but the house we go into, something bad did happen in it. And we cut inside to the bathroom where we see this guy. He's got a beard, long hair, glasses, and blood all over his face and clothes. And you know he did something, you know he killed somebody, but I was thinking like maybe he got home from a killing spree and now he's like trying to take a shower and all that. But yeah, he takes a shower, cleans himself up, changes his appearance. He goes from this to this, and when he's done, he leaves the house and he's walking down the stairs, and you see pictures on the wall, and then as he goes down, some are crooked, and then we see this handprint with blood. I mean, it's a blood handprint, and it smears as we go down further, and then we get to the living room where it reveals all these dead bodies, and you know, the downstairs part of the house, and that was his family that he just killed. So he's leaving all that behind. He leaves the house, closes the door, walks out whistling. He's all calm, like everything's all right. And he gets on this boat, and, you know, goes across the bay, and he's got this briefcase with him. He throws it in the lake, and I guess that's like the last traces of his previous identity. So now he's Jerry Blake. And cut to a year later, we're introduced to his new family. We're introduced to the 16-year-old daughter and her mother, which is, I guess, his fiance or his wife. The wife's played by Shelley, and the daughter's played by Jill Schoelen. And the daughter, she's like a semi-rebellious teenager. So, you know, that combined with Jerry Blake, who's like the perfect, you know, father knows best type. They sort of butt heads a little bit, but Jerry, you know, he's like trying to get along with her, trying to, I guess, I don't know, fix things or whatever. So he buys her a pet dog, hoping that'll win her over, but it doesn't. And, you know, she doesn't like him because she knows something's off about him. She can't put her finger on it, but she knows, like, just something's not right with this guy. And she's scared of him. So she tries to figure out, you know, what could be wrong with him, or what his deal is, what's his story. So there's this one scene where the families, like the neighborhood, let me see, the family and their friends in the neighborhood, they're all having this party or picnic out in the backyard where Jerry Blake's making this little speech about his life or whatever, and his new family, how much he loves his new family, blah blah blah, and he wants a picture taken of all three of them, but the daughter is like, she's not really feeling it, so she's like, the whole time she suspects this guy is the killer who killed his family, and it's like in the newspaper, and people at the party, they're reading it, and even they pass the newspaper to Jerry Blake, and he's reading it, and he's like all shook. He's acting all shook up by it, but then he kind of reveals himself a little bit, saying like, how could someone do this to his family? He's like, maybe they disappointed him. And he gives this look. He sort of looks over at the daughter and then smiles, and then like she's all creeped out. And then her mom tells her to go downstairs, get some ice cream in the basement. So she's down there, and then Jerry comes down there. He's all like, I guess, freaked out about, possibly being found out. So he comes down there. He doesn't know she's down there, but he starts going off on this crazy rant, this little outburst, just like saying like, look, Missy, you'll behave. I don't know what he says, but it's just this really crazy, rambly, just rant that sort of gives way to the fact he might be a psychopath. And she catches him, she's like somewhere in the background, when she catches him going off on his rants, he's like, he tries to play it off, and like, oh, I'm just stressed out about my job, my life, just gotta come down here and blow off some steam a little bit. That's his explanation, but she doesn't seem to buy it. So she suspects he's the killer with a new identity, and she calls somewhere, tries to get pictures of the old killer to see if she can compare with the faces with Jerry Blake in the picture. And unfortunately, Jerry Blake gets to the mailbox first and finds the pictures, and then he's like, oh shit, somebody's on to me, she's on to me. And then it's like she comes home, and he plays it off. It's like, she's like, any mail for me? He's like, well, there is something for you, but I don't know if this kind of thing you should be looking at. And he's like that wholesome father knows best type of tone or whatever. And he gives her this Cosmo magazine, Cosmopolitan, and takes the pictures and I guess replaces them with pictures of another guy, and then puts it back in the mailbox, and then she finds it, and then it's a different guy. So it's like, oh, okay, maybe he's not the killer, or maybe he's not so bad. And meanwhile, she's talking to her therapist about all this, saying she suspects him, something about him. I don't know, but it's just something about him. And he's kind of like on both sides, saying like, maybe you should give him a break, maybe you should give him a chance, maybe he's not so bad. And the killer, like, he wasn't the killer in the picture, so it's like, give him a break, he's not so bad. He's trying to reconcile, he's trying to get along with you, get on your good side, all that shit. But at the same time, he kind of believes her a little bit, so he tries to set up an appointment with Stepfather, but that doesn't work, so he has to call him at his job, and he's a realtor. So calls him at his job, asks him to show him a house, like he's a client buying a new house, and he just wants to lure him there so he could ask him some questions about his life, his family life, and get some clues as to whether he's like a psycho or not.